Guys, City have done it once again. I'm just back from work. Watched the game today, of course. A lot to be actually excited about, I guess, going forward. I felt good for most of the game, to be honest with you. Um, and that's what we should be talking about is how interesting of a lineup it was, how City built up with two center backs and three center backs sitting right in front of them. How really interesting and different it was from Pep to do that. And I mean, five center backs. When have we ever seen that from anyone? Um, it was really interesting lineup and it worked for the majority of the game. But unfortunately, man, it's the story of our season. It's injuries that come into play, and then guys making these wild errors that just are completely uncalled for. Um, yeah, then chat. Sad to see this, to be honest, but hope for a better second leg. I mean, we hope, man. We can only hope. That's all there is. I don't have a whole lot of hope, to be honest, with it, but it's the story of the season. Unfortunately, it's been a poor season. We all know it. We're all upset with how it's gone. Um, but the injuries just pile up, and it is, yeah, the goals we conceded were honestly underwhelming. I totally agree, man. It's just we given them goals. So I'm gonna pull up the game here. 3-2 final, of course. We led twice, lost the lead twice. Holland scores early, 19th minute. Some great play actually from City. Grealish made a great ball, similar to the ball at the weekend against in the FA Cup, where he dinks it over the top. Vardiol gets there first and kind of chests it over to Holland, and he tucks it right past Courtois. There was a really long VAR check, I felt like forever. It was probably past 5 minutes. It was weird how long it takes because the Champions League has the automated VAR deal, but for whatever reason they couldn't figure it out, and yeah, it was eventually ruled to be a solid goal, and it was one of the best goals of the season. To be honest, it was great. We broke their press, we got right through, and great finish from Holland. It was nice. We're chilling, and the build up is working. How I'm sure Pep was hoping it would work. They had, Madrid had their own chances. I don't think they had as good a chance as the Holland goal. They had some that they definitely could have done better with, but again, Ederson made some great saves. And overall, we get to halftime, 1-0. There's a few moments where I'm worried they might have scored, but I was pretty pleased going to half at 1-0. And then, right before halftime, Akanji pulls up and he's got to come off. Unfortunate, but, what are you going to do? I mean, that's the story. These guys are overplayed. We have too many games, not enough players, and hopefully going forward with a little bit bigger squad that will be fixed. But let me look at the lineup here. Yeah, Akanji comes off right at halftime due to this injury, and we go with Rico. Now, maybe Rico was the wrong sub, and it should have been Kusanov, I guess. But again, Kusanov's not really a right back, and Akanji was moving into midfield, so maybe that's not correct, and maybe it should have been Nunes. Could be. Yeah, I agree with the chat. Holland's goal was brilliantly constructed. The build up to the goal was honestly remarkable. It was great. It was one of the best goals we've scored this year. This Akanji injury, though, it really derails the game, in my opinion. Rico comes on. He's on this right-hand side. We have Vinny coming at him. You have Mbappe coming at him. And he's just not a great defender, in all honesty. He's much better in small spaces. He's much better going forward than he is defending. And early on, Vinny cooked him a couple times for pace. Maybe Rico was the wrong sub. Yeah, Nunes would have been a better pick. Nunes doesn't fill me with confidence at that position either. But Akanji going down, major game change moment for sure. Rico does okay, throughout the game. Eventually, it worked out where probably from after the first couple minutes he settled and got better, and then right at the end he has that just he puts a leg in, and it's just so soft from him. He's got to realize the situation and just take the guy out, take a yellow. I mean, he's just got to have better situational awareness there right at the end for Rico. So all in all, like, not a great game for Rico. I thought he did okay. Diaz, I thought this rating doesn't really make sense to me. I thought he had a pretty good game. Vardiol, I bang on about how good Vardiol is, but man, the guy is world class. He was incredible. One of his best games, I thought. He was great. 7.5. I mean, I might have had him as our best player. He was outstanding. Yes, I totally agree. Vinny became a huge threat when Akanji came off. And in the first half, I mean, they had chances, but the back four, back five, whatever we had, and was solid. I thought it was really good, and they didn't have. I guess they did have a lot of chances, but none of them I felt like, oh, this is going in. I thought we did a good job defensively. And Ake is such a good, solid defender. Diaz, solid defender. Akanji's a good to decent defender. And Stones, man. Stones bossed the game in the midfield. He was outstanding. Honestly, our first, up until probably the 60-minute mark when they got their goal, we were really good. I was really impressed. I was enjoying the lineup, and I was enjoying the difference in style that we were playing. I thought Ederson had a great start to the game. I mean, Pep even came out after the game and said Ederson was our best player on the field. So it's sad to see how it ended, of course, with Ederson, and he. I hate to put all the blame on one player, but he had a couple bozo moments and cost us goals. I mean, it's the story of the season. It's Akanji against Arsenal, bozo moment. Nunez against United. It happens consistently, and Pep said this has happened many times. It's unacceptable. I'm not sure mentally if the guys are just shot and they're tired from how many games have been played. I don't know. Maybe it's fatigue. But at about the 60-minute mark, 65, 70-ish, that area, I felt like you could see on the field the legginess and the tiredness of the guys, in my opinion, especially for Kev. Kev had a rough night in general. Not a whole lot went off for him. But, man, from about 60 to 65 minutes on until he left the pitch, he was just gassed. And, I was watching the game, and on Twitter, people are cooking De Bruyne. But it's sad to see, I guess, is how I kind of feel about it. I'm not cooking him because there wasn't effort. It was just the guy just had no gas left. He was gone. And I think the sub should have come quicker, personally. Grealish, I thought, was great for the first 25 minutes that he played. And then he had an injury. I am assuming the injury was a head injury. Actually, I think when he got fouled, he kind of took on some players down here on this corner of the box area, and one of the Madrid players fell on him and kind of like landed on his head. That's what it looked like to me was the injury. I don't see where he would have hurt his groin. I know some people were saying it was a groin thing, but he looked visibly unwell, and I thought maybe he had some sort of head injury, and that was the problem, and they were just being cautious. I don't know. Bernardo, I thought was okay. I mean, the dude gives you effort. You got to give him that. He gave maximum effort. He's just, I don't know if the quality is quite there anymore for Bernardo. And then, unfortunately, Savinho, same sort of deal. He had a pretty good game in general. Not a lot of his take-ons I felt like were successful, but in general, it was fine, I guess. We make some subs, of course. Phil, I thought was great. Actually, Phil was taking players on. He had a couple shots on goal. Was pretty good. We talked about Rico already. And then Kovacic, man, he came on for 30 minutes in midfield. And this is really where the game changes because Ake comes off. Maybe he's still recovering, and he only had 60 minutes in him. I'm hoping that's what it was versus he picked up another injury and had to come off. Because, man, Ake he's probably our best one-on-one defender. The guy can defend. He had a great clearance off the line in the first half. I mean, he was outstanding, I thought. But Kovacic comes on. Stone slides back into defense, and Kovacic takes this role here. and it ends up being a midfield of Kovacic, Bernardo, and KDB, and the game completely switches. Stones was in there, bossing the midfield. He was great, doing as good as you could hope a center back in midfield is doing, and the legs just were gone. The game completely changed at this moment here, and unfortunately, Real Madrid just have sheer quality in attack. I mean, you just look at it, and I mean everybody knows Madrid are great, and they were going to be weak at the back, per se, but they got players, man. The midfield is where we lost the game, and that's been the story of the whole season. I mean, everybody knows the midfield's weak, and we're putting a lot of hope in Nico Gonzalez, or I guess Nico as he wants to be known now, and he was on the bench, but I guess not fit enough to come on. So I'm not sure why he's on the bench, but didn't make an impact, obviously. Would the game have been different? Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't see Gundogan if Nico's fit, because he only had 5, 6, 7, 10 minutes, whatever. And I don't think we lost because we subbed Gundogan on. But again, 84th minute is when he came on, and they scored in the 86th and they scored in the 92nd. So I'm not personally putting it on him, but he doesn't help the midfield either. You got a midfield three of Gundogan, Bernardo, and Kovacic. I mean, it's just we can't do much worse than that with players as far as athleticism going up against Camavinga and Bellingham. Like it's just a mismatch. And as far as their goals, the Mbappe goal in the 60th minute was just crap. It was an utter luck, just unfortunate moment where he shins the ball. He gets nowhere near what he's trying to do, and the ball just loops in the air, and Ederson can't do anything. It was an unfortunate crap goal that, sometimes they happen. Again, subs are made, game kind of momentum swings in their favor. I'm sure if you look here at the momentum charts, like we were doing great here. Even after their goal, you could see this momentum chart was solidly with us, and then right here, we really lost all control, unfortunately. For the second goal, the Diaz goal, Ederson gives the ball away. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he doesn't just go long up to Haaland. Haaland was great. He had Foden won the pen, of course, taking players on right in this area here. It looks like he had gotten hurt, but seems like he's fine. Haaland scores the pen. We're 2-1 up, and Madrid weren't looking that dangerous. There was a few moments, of course, where they could have scored, but I'm thinking, there's 10 minutes left. We are at least getting a point here, or a draw. But I don't know, man. It just, the whole game just was thrown completely off balance once this goal goes in. Ederson gives the ball away. They come right down, and he tries to make a save, but his arms aren't up, and he chests it right back into the front of goal, and it's a tap in for Diaz. Oh man, I think that goal that Ederson gives away honestly plays a part in the third goal because Ederson's so upset with himself. I'm assuming on the third goal, we give the ball away again. Kovacic gives it right away, and Ederson kind of half comes out, half doesn't. Normally he's the most aggressive come out of his box keeper there is. There is no one that is more aggressive in coming way out of the box, making plays than Ederson. And he comes out and then stops and then tries to go again, and he's in no man's land. And I can only imagine that his head is just in a bad spot and he's just being mentally weak. Sounds harsh to say, but man, I don't know. You got to take the player out, something. You got to do something to stop the goal there. Because at 2-2, we go to Madrid. There's a real chance. But he chips him, and then Bellingham beats Stones for pace to tap in an empty net. And the game basically ends on that kick. So, mega unfortunate that the story remains we have self-inflicted wounds, and that's where we lose the game versus how well I actually thought we played. I think I have a tweet pulled up here from Nobbins on Twitter. Such a frustrating result because tactically I really enjoyed how that bizarre team on paper ended up being set up, and I totally agree. I thought it was way different than what I normally see from City, and it was interesting, and I thought it was working. Again, Stones was dominating the midfield, wonderful here, and then injuries, errors, killing the season, and that's the way it is, unfortunately. So I'm not taking any real confidence or hope going into next week at the Bernabeu. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I can't really see a positive result there. It's maybe Nico will be fit, but I don't think we should be putting that much pressure on him personally to save our season, like I've said before. So in my mind, focus on getting Champions League for next season, and then do what we can in the FA Cup. Hopefully, we get some nice draws and we move from there. But man, it's just disappointing. It's really sad to see like the team just collapse in the way they are. And maybe it's just that they need, we need a refreshment in the summer. And I've said a lot of times one of Stones or Ake needs to go. They were both outstanding today. And I've said I want Kev to stay as long as he possibly can, out of just my admiration for him as a player and how he attracted me to becoming a City fan in the first place, but just wasn't it today, unfortunately. So I do expect a big clear out in the summer, a lot of money to be spent, of course, but I don't know. There's a lot of factors at play more in my mind today, more than the players are washed and we need to get rid of them. It was more of mentality is weak, and that's not something that you normally say with a Manchester City and Pep Guardiola coached team. I would say we have been mentality monsters over the last 10 years or so. So it's different to see just the consistent breakdown of the players' minds and in game. It's madness. There was a tweet I actually wanted to check and see how many times we have had these moments where we're leading late in games and we throw it away. And there's a Twitter handle here. I have it pulled up right here. Brighton 1-0 up, 12 minutes to go. We lose 2-1. Feyenoord 3-0 up, 16 minutes to go. 3-3 draw. United 1-0 up, 88 minutes gone. 2 minutes left. We concede twice. Brentford, we're up 2-0 at the 82-minute mark. We draw. PSG, we're up 2-0, 56 minutes gone, and we concede 4 in the second half. And then again today, Madrid 2-1, 5 minutes to go, 3-2 loss. It's just, it is what it is. This is the story of us this year. It's a horrible story, and we need to do what we can to regroup for Saturday. It's again going to be a really tough game. The fixtures do not get any easier, as we all know. Going forward, we've got Newcastle, Madrid again. This game is a wash. This game should have no real impact on the rest of our season. Unfortunately, that's how I feel. Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs. Vex you, hello. How are we doing in the chat, man? How are we doing? Welcome to the stream. I'm venting, man. I'm very upset, very frustrated with the game. The 1st of March, we go back in the FA Cup. It's Plymouth. I'm not going to say it's an easy, personal, easy tie, but again, it is Plymouth. They're bottom of the championship. I know they beat Liverpool, but it was a pretty weakened Liverpool side. So, maybe we win this one and we get a nice opponent in the next round and we make a run for the FA Cup. And then after February, our fixtures hopefully get a little easier and we can lock in Champions League for next season. We have Leicester, Palace, Everton, Wolves, Southampton. So that's my only thing I'm holding on to at the moment. Unfortunately, it's a crap feeling for all the City fans out there. It's a crap way to experience a game. It's just, to see the same mistakes over and over and over. You would think that people would learn and adapt, but it seems, unfortunately, that is not the case at the moment. So we go back to the drawing board. Pep, you need to coach him up and figure out who is here for the long haul and who needs to be out the door, unfortunately. And some of them might be legends, but you'll be a legend forever, even if you leave and go play somewhere else. So yeah, I mean it is what it is, guys. It's unfortunate. There's not really much else I can say. I'll keep my eyes on the Twitter reports and the transfer news, see if I find anything else interesting. I want to do another video, but really devastated from tonight. Brutal, of course. So anyway, I appreciate you listening to my rant and all. I would appreciate any new people to sub or comment in the on the video. Give me a like. Channel is growing very nicely, so always appreciative of that. Again, I will be back as soon as there's something else to talk about, because I really don't want to talk about Real Madrid anymore, man. I'm tired of playing them. So anyway, City till we die. Better times ahead. We move. See ya.